Alright, you ready? We go live. Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of Emerald Life. Today we got my boy, I call him Mikey Tree. He's always connected in the cannabis community. He's been doing this for quite some time, got some great connections, got some good facts about cannabis, and he's just an overall cool dude that's really plugged up. So I'll let it to you, bro. Just introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Mr. E. Mike. I am. Actually, they know me by on the radio. I was
Mr. E.
Mr. E.
Yeah.
Mike. Yeah. This is my first time behind the mic, but I spent some time as a producer on the morning show on WBAI. So I'm very involved with the activist community as well. I like to, like with NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws.
Right.
I was actually in the cannabis parade in New York City. Like I legitimately marched with.
That's awesome.
From like 31st down to Union Square.
That's awesome.
The cannabis parade is so fun. You gotta come out. It's like first week of May.
First week of May? That's fresh.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of people come out and they show support. You see a lot of the old hippies and yippies that normally, we stand on the shoulders of giants, man. Like, we think we started this whole cannabis movement, but there have been people that have been fighting this, doing, and pushing for these rights for a while now.
Right.
Like, we have the first people that, just really they felt passionate about it, and I feel that I feel just as passionate because we're in pivotal times.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Because
we're on the end of prohibition.
Yeah, we're right there.
Like half of the United States has already voted.
Canada is already fully legal.
Yeah, until they work that system out, which that's another thing. People say that, oh, a state is legal. Okay, but what can the state actually provide? That's something that the United States has allowed
and food together because of the recreational aspect that now that it's recreationally free.
Those are two of my favorite things. Cannabis and food.
Oh yes.
And when you bring the two together, man, do you get some really great things. So Turpmongers, we have been in the industry of throwing social events
Okay.
for people that are in our network that have reached out to us. We're a movement. We're not just one person. You know, we can all be Turpmongers. You know, a monger
Okay.
by definition is somebody that has a lot of knowledge and is willing to, you know, in a certain commodity that they trade in. And
Okay.
this being terpenes, whether they be flowers or concentrates, you know, we strive to seek a lot of the knowledge, and
Okay.
that's one thing. We do not hold back on sharing the knowledge with you. If you ask, you know, we will answer. It's not gonna tell
Okay.
you, no.
That's good.
fuck
That's good.
off. So we have been throwing the Netflix and dabs, is what I call it,
Okay.
where we have some Netflix and we take dabs
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
we chill.
That's fresh.
So it's really Netflix and chill with dabs,
Okay, but
we're just gonna, you know, everybody knows
Is it-
Netflix and chill is.
that's what I'm saying. Like, what's going on at this Netflix and chill?
Yes, but we're friendly towards the weed smokers as well. Come out. I like to think that members of the community feel safe, and I thank them for them because they come out with very expensive glass pieces and their glass art to show off to all the other hash appreciators and everybody there. It's the best. As soon you walk by there, all you hear is, "I'll light you up," and "No, I'll light you up." But wait, I gotta light him up. But no, I'll light you up on this too.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
like there's not enough rigs going around because
That's
everybody
awesome.
wants to give somebody else a dab. It's
that's
an
great.
awesome environment, even if you're a newbie to concentrates.
Right.
You're gonna get a dab. We pop a lot of dab cherries there. We've given people their very first dabs.
Wow.
And
That's great.
It's a great environment.
How was that? Your first dab?
My first dab was hot. It felt like my lungs were like
No, I
contracting.
never tried. I've never done dab. No,
You've never done a concentrate?
no,
dab?
I've never done a concentrate before.
Oh man, that's episode. That's the second episode, for sure. For sure, we gotta bring my little concentrate rig.
All right.
That being said, a dab.
Mhm.
How does that feel like? Well, think of the equivalent of taking 10 joints to the face.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that sounds good.
finish that in one sitting and then one hit. But at
Wow.
the same time, it's something that you have to have been doing for a while to understand the techniques and how to fully
Well, I'm like, okay.
take advantage of it, because it can be concentrates are the finest essence of cannabis, brother. Like, I think it's
I'm being
concentrate.
so big.
It's concentrate, man.
Oh, that's great.
Speaking of concentrates, because it's way stronger. Like, the average marijuana concentrate is 70 to 90% pure.
Okay.
Versus when you're smoking a joint, you get about 17%.
Mm.
THC content, the
Right.
whole thing. Yeah, alright, like, how can I put this? And maybe for the alcoholics that might listen, us alcohol aficionados, I would consider flowers to be like beer, and
Okay.
taking a shot would be like a dab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And then, even then, not all shots are created the same, because
That's
some
true.
shots are better than others.
You got tequila.
Are you gonna get the
rum.
house tequila, or are you gonna get the good tequila?
Right.
There's that.
Sometimes, one shot of Jaeger is all you need, and then like.
That's another thing. It's relative to everybody, because what works for somebody might not work for somebody else.
Right.
I feel that you can't fully rely on That actually brings me to a point I wanted to make earlier. Now that we were speaking about terpenes, this is an opinion that is, you know, it's kind of a fact,
Okay.
but it's a strong opinion that I'd like to express that. And I feel that like when people talk about sativa and indica and hybrid, that those are really just marketing tools for the marijuana customer. Honestly, because what they try to do is they try to associate feelings with the with this name, like sativa. If sativa will make you feel this, this, and this, versus indica will make you feel hungry, less anxiety, and
Right.
which it used to be true, but we live in the green age where we have so much variety that we start actually like it's not even like if it's sativa or indica, because you have plants that exhibit traits of the other feelings, but they look like exactly what something should be. Like it could have an indica effect on somebody that
looks completely sativa.
Exactly. And even then it's like it's relative to what works for everybody's body.
That's true.
Because one person might get shit faced off of one joint versus somebody else that barely feels a buzz.
Right.
It's the same exact thing. We're all different.
That's very true. And again, it's something that we said several times in the podcast is the high is like it. Where your mind goes is where your high is going to be. So if you're telling yourself, oh, I don't feel anything, you're really not going to feel anything. But if you let your mind go and you start realizing, oh wait, like I'm feeling a little trippy, like your mind will make that happen. Like I feel like cannabis like unlocks your inhibitions, like your self-doubt into yourself. Like there's a episode that I have coming up that goes through the different levels of high. And one of the entry levels, like the first stage, is when you're starting to feel a little out of place, where like you're here in the space in the room, but you're not. Like your body is like if you let your mind wander, like you won't be within yourself. Like you're reflecting from outside of yourself.
Almost like an out of body experience.
Right.
So sort of similar to like a disassociative like
feeling.
Yeah, you're just associating from your body.
Right.
Yourself
like that's an effect that cannabis can give you.
That would probably be under really high doses. You had that one brownie of death.
Right.
Honestly, like I have some really like high dose edibles here that are.
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mr. Danko.
Mr.
Danko, they're actually fueled with distillate. So distillate is about like the purest, not the purest, but it's one of the highest THC content.
Wow.
Concentrates. That's very good for edibles because it's tasteless, so it doesn't give you that taste that you get when you eat in your standard brownie or cookie that's homemade.
Yeah, I think I had like a corner of this one time. I think you sold me one, and I was just like chilling out. Like within 20 minutes, I was like, ooh. I just took a little sliver of like, if you're listening, this thing is like about the size of maybe a lighter at best.
Yeah, it's smaller than a lighter. It's thick though.
Yeah.
But I ate half of this and I threw up.
Exactly.
I greened out. I had a really uncomfortable
These are what are the milligrams on this?
Those are lab tested at 225.
225 milligrams.
Yes.
This shit will get you fucked up.
Yeah.
Especially if you're new to it. You know, if you're just trying it out. Like, but what's great about it is that you can microdose.
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
great about it is
You can
that,
always take more. You can't take less.
right.
I stress that so much with people. I'm all about the safe consumption of your thing because I hate to hear stories of people that were no longer partake in cannabis because they had a fucked up experience. They ate the whole cookie or the whole brownie.
Right. Oh man, I have a story like that as well. Like, I told my fiance, like, I had bought some brownies and I cut it up into fours, and it gave my fiance and her friend and her cousin just a quarter of a brownie, and I told them just have that quarter and let it sit, and if you don't feel anything, have the other quarter, and then that's it. They ended up having the whole brownie and another one after that. And they just got really fucked up. They were just like, but their mentality was just terrible because they were scared of what they had done. Because I gave them the warning, and they went again. So they just threw up everywhere. It was a mess. They went into because the weed has that anxiety effect.
Yeah, like really high doses of THC cause that. There's actually a beautiful compound called CBD that exactly counteracts that fucked up feeling that you get.
Oh really?
Yes.
And doesn't most cannabis plants have CBD in them?
They do to a certain degree. A very small percentage, I would say less than 1% CBD on most strains because the way that we grow and our trend, we want the highest. We pride ourselves in the highest THC, and if you lab test at the highest THC, you're like the biggest dick on the block, basically.
Okay.
So, we're not focusing on the quality itself and the terpene content, which really is what the healing is. The composition and the different ratios of each cannabinoid, and there are hundreds of cannabinoids. We have barely yet scratched the surface. We can identify about like 50 of them, I think. There's like 150 more we still haven't identified, only because the research has been hindered by the fact that we've had prohibition.
Right.
And there was only it's just we haven't had a chance to see all that, but now that we can, we're now focusing on growing and testing for high THC, and there are certain plants that are grown specifically for a high CBD content. But at the same time, you're not gonna.
Because I hear the CBD is like that's the winner. The CBD is what's gonna cure us all. CBD is gonna be the one that.
I wouldn't say that's a stretch to say that this is the one cure-all thing. In conjunction with THC, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of healing. Both of them combined, for sure. Not entirely, but CBD itself is great because if you're sitting there smoking a lot of weed,
Right.
and you get that dirty, burnt out feeling where you just can't get any higher, and it's like you kind of got a slight headache. You ever burn yourself out that bad?
Yeah.
That CBD will take the edge off, and it's really actually good for if you have anxiety.
No, yeah. CBD is good for a lot of things. CBD is, and sometimes my dog gets like very itchy, and she gets a lot of anxiety, so I give her a little bit of CBD and into the dog treats. They make CBD dog treats, and she's nice and calm, and it's relaxed. It's 100% safe for her, so it's like it does have its benefits. It definitely does. Definitely. Hold on, let me just.
Oh yes.
We lost our daylight over here.
Yeah. Well, going back to the whole dog treats and in general, the CBD can benefit everybody. Like, we have an endocannabinoid system in our bodies. And
Right.
shit was meant for us to. We were meant to consume it. We don't have benzo opiate fucking receptors in our body, those shits are foreign. The whole pharmaceutical industry is a joke.
It is. It totally is. I've heard so much stuff, especially recently, about the pharmaceutical industry, and it's just like, fuck. Like how certain companies just push opioids, knowing how dangerous it is, and trying to, like, persuade doctors or, inexperienced doctors to think that opioids don't really do much harm. It's like
It's ignorance.
it is.
You're right. And it's just the fact
I even heard
true.
I even heard that most people don't even realize that Advil and Tylenol kill more people than cannabis.
Yeah, what?
Because
Ibuprofen causes like kidney failure or something.
exactly. So it's like,
Why do we continue to ingest
Right.
substances that
and it opens doors. Like, this prohibition, I feel like, has done a lot for the movement, because it showed us who our government really is. It showed us their hand, and now that we had to grow in private, it increased our knowledge of the plant, because we are studying it now, hidden, and we're making it stronger and stronger. And now that it's becoming like, more and more legal. Before the prohibition, hemp was grown everywhere and no one gave a shit about it. But now that it's been, people are now looking into the plant a little bit more, and they're doing more things with it and realizing its true potential. And that's where you come in with, like, the extracts and all these different, the oils and all these happened if they didn't study the plant more, and that's only occurred because of the prohibition. So it's like, it has its benefit, and now that we're at the end of it, it's just gonna kick off.
it has helped the fact that we have a system in our country that divides the federal and the states. So we are at 52% of the states that have allowed
Right.
cannabis to be medical, at least.
Right.
That's already half the country. The other half is soon to follow. We got places like Louisiana and fucking, all those.
Once they take away the stigma, the racial and separation and the stigma, because you know what? At the end of the day, some places in certain towns in the middle of the United States, they would have some thought, like, if you're smoking weed, you're a no good, whatever, you're of a certain kind of race, and there's already judgment made about you, and forget about getting a job, because if you smoke weed, that shit stays in your system. You're not going to pass any drug test. So it's like, it's made, now that we're slowly realizing this, and we show and open people's minds, that's when the entire United States is just going to wake up and say, look, we're spending too much time, too much resources, and trying to make something illegal when it has too many benefits and too many positives to just look away, So just let the industry thrive, and let's put that money, that tax money, towards things that is going to actually help the country, instead of dicking around and pretending that you're doing something, building a fucking wall. What is that going to do? There's things called airplanes. Like, for real.
I mean, it's getting kind of hard, to be able to get your way over here on a plane. But going back to what you were saying about the good shit that tax money from pot will get everybody.
Right.
Because California California taxes marijuana like New York City taxes cigarettes. If that is relevant to any people in the tri-state area, and they know how much cheaper the Virginia cigarettes are versus the New York City.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. My friend has paid $85 in taxes for 2.5 ounces.
Wow.
On top of the prices that they already have there.
Wow.
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 It's ridiculous.
That's a lot.
but all that shit can be used for good things. And
Yeah.
Colorado has built like 3 high-tech schools. Like every
Okay.
kid gets like an iPad kind of thing. Like
That's awesome. You see?
we are going towards education, which that's where it should be.
That's
And
where the money should go.
a lot of the money actually should, instead of lining the pockets of the politicians, which is it's gonna help with infrastructure. It's gonna help bring a lot of things to a lot of states that were poor and have a lot of big large industry like Detroit.
Okay.
You know, they have a shitload of space that they could grow in. Like they can contribute a lot of things. It's gonna bring a lot of jobs back to this country, and
that's what we can be known for.
that's honestly right now in the Donald Trump era, we have a lot of jobs that are coming up, and he's gonna get all the credit for all the cannabis jobs that are gonna come up too as well.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just the fact of the matter is that it's gonna bring in so many more jobs. But we should also focus on reparations for the people that have been incarcerated, because there are people doing life in prison still for pot.
That's just fucking ridiculous.
You know, and
for something that grows in the ground, that whether or not we plant it is gonna grow anyway.
How we gotta honestly repay all the people that we destroyed their lives pretty much over
nothing.
Yeah.
Over nothing.
And
literally over nothing.
Before that, I think we can really get moving with what the movement really should be, man. And I think that
I truly believe that once everyone's aware of cannabis, and once cannabis gets to a point where smoking cigarettes was in the 50s or in the 60s, right? I think people are going to be a little bit more fine-tuned, and you're going to see
that was heavy. That's like having a joint in product placement everywhere.
Exactly.
They have cigarette in everybody's hand.
Yeah, if we get to that point,
I wish.
I truly believe that people will be nicer to one another. I feel like you would see America and its citizens be united in the same, you're my brother, we're part of the same country kind of thing. Because I feel like cannabis has that kind of effect on a person.
Cannabis is America's next cash crop, dude.
It is, and people are sleeping on it. It is.
If you haven't gotten into anything within the hemp industry, which the cousin of weed,
right?
The CBD industry. There's a place for everybody in this industry, and here's the thing that a lot of people, because I've done these parties.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone out there, put all my stuff there, and people have come up to me that I didn't even know.
These smoke sessions, right?
Yes, the secret ones.
The secret sessions.
Yes, and they're like, "Hey, how do you get this job?" Well, I was not answered. That was one of the questions I have not been able to answer in my life. You gotta have a passion for it, and you gotta really want to be in it. But there's a lot of people that think that the only way to be in it is to be in the black market side.
Right.
No, you have to diversify. You have to get skills that you can then use to contribute into the industry. If you're a day laborer, you work with your hands, or you're a tradesman, you can do stuff, you can contribute to the industry. If you're a graphic designer or something, especially, you can. Right. The marketing of the industry is going to be insane. People need drawings,
Exactly.
Market your skills, build yourself up. Just don't be, you can be an actual, I hate this that when people say that stoners are, lazy and shit.
That's not true.
That's a mindset.
Yeah.
That's a mindset in yourself. That's not.
Exactly. And that's something that we say all the time. Because you know what? I mean, okay, so for those of you that don't know, this is EMRLD Life. Right? This is the EMRLD Life podcast, but what EMRLD stands for is entrepreneurs motivated by rebellion, lifestyle, and design. So basically, it's we're entrepreneurs, but we're inspired by rebellion, and that rebellion for us is cannabis. But we're still entrepreneurs. We're still working. We're still working hard. You know, trying to make things happen. Starting to do new content. Starting to do like new products to sell and learning more about our community. And we're doing all that. We're very active, even though we smoke. Even though that's our movement. Even though that's our rebellion. You know, it's like we're not lazy just because we smoke. You know, it's you're lazy before you smoke, and the fact that you smoke just makes you even lazier.
Yeah, I I do agree, man. Listen, I have violated your bowl of Hindu Kush here, but Tartmonger is just fueling today's podcast.
Oh, really?
That's right, he's EMRLD podcast. We have quite the selection here.
Yes.
Different boutique level flowers, which I'm, you know,
Yes.
this is nothing in New York State. I remember back in the days,
Mm-hmm.
back when you first contacted me about that,
Yeah.
and this could get you sent to bookings. Nowadays, this is a ticket.
Wow.
You know, and then like smoking is a ticket. Before smoking, and then they turned that down to like an offense to equivalent to like disorderly conduct or some shit. You know.
Okay.
So.
But that
It happened really fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like one day they were like, okay, you can't do this, and then De Blasio was throwing some heavy legislation saying like, no. Then the commissioner was like, announce. And did you see that?
No,
Did you see that
I-
video where the police commissioner holds up what he looks like an ounce and it's really like a half ounce of like some oregano?
Oh wow.
He's like, it's like this is what an ounce must look like.
Oh my god.
Like, obviously you don't know that. The media.
Yeah.
The media is that's. Dude, I hate the media in this country.
Well, you have to understand, the media is the people behind it, right? So, of course, there's an agenda,
Indeed.
and the agenda is very simple: is make money, right? So they're appealing to be the safest network or the safest news that doesn't affect any sort of negative feedback, so that they could continuously make money off of the news. Like that's their point. So they skew it back and forth to meet their quota. And you have to be more diligent in knowing what you put into and around your body. You can't just purchase something like, even if I tell you something is good on the podcast, you know, even if I say, oh, Turpmongers is great, you know, I fucking love it, you know, it's the best fucking weed I've ever smoked. But don't just go and buy it just because. Look them up, find out.
Follow us on Instagram, you know,
Exactly.
find out, see what message we're putting out. Is it a message you can stand behind?
Exactly.
You know what? And that's something that we have a lot of power in as consumers, where we put our money.
Right.
We give power to those big corporations that control us, the wealthy elites,
Right.
because they have built a system in which they own all the things which you need.
Yeah.
So because we have become dependent upon their services, they will forever.
You know what I heard? You know a little bit about the cable companies?
No, can you fill me in on it?
Okay, so the cable companies, right? You got Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile or whatever. So they all have their own stake in the country, right?
Really?
So basically, and then there's other companies in the middle of the country or in the East Coast that you'll never hear about here on the East Coast, because they divide it up by sections of the country. So the big corporations basically say, you know what, we're not going to compete. you'll take this part of the land, I'll take this part of the land, and you take this part of the land, and we all got everything locked up. So the companies just made an alliance. This was back in 1997. They made an alliance, so now there's no competition.
They monopolize.
They monopolize it. They made an agreement that we're not gonna compete against each other. You just stick to your territory. And now they own us because not everything that we use now is all going through them. A phone is a paperweight without the service, you know? So like in other countries though, they have a different system. In other countries, they have a lot faster service because there's competition. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make my speed faster to compete with you. But here they don't care. In fact, they make your speed lower just so that you can, so that they
can charge more.
Can charge more, and so that they could push for a new phone or for the new service, the gigabyte speed. But the gigabyte speed, at the slower speed, costs them more than the gigabyte speed.
Wow.
Right.
So wow.
Right. They do it on purpose to fuck with you so that you can pay more for the more speed. Even though it costs them more to fuck with you. So like that's what
that's capitalism, dude.
Yeah.
That's capitalism.
So that's like kind of the shit that goes around, you know, like you gotta be aware. You gotta be aware in this society, because if you're walking around right now is the best time that you'll ever be in this entire point of mankind, because right now we have such technology that can change, that changes perceptions. We have books that people didn't have before are now accessible at any point in time in your palm of your hand.
We are living in great times, the age of information. Ignorance is a choice at this day and age. If you want to be ignorant, you can't claim to be ignorant because you didn't have access to it. It's the most basic device that every American seems to have.
They give it out.
Yeah, they give it out.
They give it out.
Bomb a phone.
They like there's many ways that you can, but even if you don't have a phone, there's ways that you can have someone somewhere has access to the internet. I mean, in New York City, there's even like these bus posts that have like Wi-Fi and you can call people.
Wow. Okay, so I was staying on the Upper West Side one night, and when I went downstairs, I saw one of the very first handful. They had experimental ones.
Oh, really?
I remember seeing it. Yeah, I was playing around with it. This was before they were everywhere.
Right.
Those things are amazing because I actually can say that it saved me one time.
Really?
I had no charge. You can charge your phone there. That's Sometimes you see the homeless dude there charging his phone. Like he's basically got his whole home set around it.
Right.
They kind of clear that up because that doesn't really look good. There was a case of somebody watching Pornhub on his shit, and he was out there beating his meat.
Oh man! Well, that's New York City for you.
Yeah, that kind of fucked it up at first. They were like, "No, we're gonna shut it down," and then they're like, "No, that's a really good idea in general." Yeah, it gives everybody access to the internet. It can.
Right.
Which it should, because honestly, you need access to the internet now.
That's the
if
thing.
You don't have
a
phone, you don't have a computer, you can't do shit. You can't apply to a job, you can't do shit.
Can't do nothing. You really can't. And that's the thing. So right now, you have to appreciate this new lifestyle, this 21st century that we're living in. Embrace it and take full advantage, because if you want to do something right now, you have more of an opportunity to do whatever you want as opposed to any time before now. Even in the 80s, it was more difficult to learn a subject or to find something out than it is today.
Yeah, you actually have to go through books.
People would just people just guess half the time. People would guess because they wouldn't know. You everything that you told me, I would say, oh yeah, like you would tell me, oh, marijuana is just bad for you. I don't know. How am I gonna look it up? I have no way of looking it up. I'm not gonna bother going to the library. So okay, I don't want to try marijuana because it's bad for you. But now that we have it on our phones, we can find out for ourselves. Oh wait, what you said was stupid.
Yeah, I can fact check you on Google right now, everything you said, if you're bullshitting me right now or not. Man, that Google was the best thing ever made. It settles all disputes.
It does. It settles all disputes. It allows businesses to grow and to be found. It is one of the best inventions that we've ever created, and all it does is connect people. That's really all it does.
It honestly, like, it's great, but it's a double-edged sword because I've done a lot of fuckery on the internet too. You know? I gotta say, I know a lot of youth and a little bit younger dudes that, they're really younger than me. And my nephew's generation.
Okay.
You know, they.
How old is your nephew?
He's about like 19 now.
Okay.
And fresh out of high school, and starting college or whatever. These kids have absolutely no respect, or not even no respect, but their mindset is so short-sighted that they don't see the repercussions of their actions in the future. They're like, sure, let me get a shitload of face tats and do a bunch of ignorant shit on the internet for the clout is what they call it nowadays. The internet of popularity that you get. The more clout you get, the better. Like people get killed for clout.
Wow.
That's
so stupid.
Just to do some shit. Like a prime example. Remember all these dumb challenges that people come up with for songs on the internet?
Yeah.
All right, so there was the Kiki challenge.
Yeah,
right. Kiki, do you love me? Right?
yeah.
And then people are like, they took it to the extreme, and they
Drake
started.
Song.
Yeah, it is a Drake song. They took it to the extreme, and they were taking videos where the driver of a car was stepping out of his car and like doing the whole dance while the car is like moving and like drive like or neutral or some shit down the hill.
Oh man!
Just like, yeah. So, one person did that. Everybody started following along, trying to do this meme.
Right.
And there was a white girl and doing that on like a highway, and like right in the middle of the shit while she's finishing up, she gets hit by a car.
Oh my god!
And everybody thought that. I thought it was fake. I thought it was fake. I didn't believe it was real until I saw the actual footage of that they took afterwards when she was on the stretcher. And she was just like, she was barely like alive.
Wow.
You know, she was breathing. You could see her chest moving, but that's about it. Like,
oh man. You see, people don't think before they start doing these stupid challenges. You know, they just wanna get their claim to fame for a brief moment, but for what? What are you doing, really? What's the point?
Yeah, man, it's the clout.
Yeah, exactly. And what does that really work? You know,
people get famous off of the clout, though. That's another thing.
But you know what I realized in my entrepreneurial journey and becoming, the person that I want to be. I've learned that really all it takes is you to believe in yourself. Really, that's all it is. You don't have to clout, you don't have to show off or whatever. Whoever made that video, you watch it, that's fresh or whatever. You don't have to one-up him. You don't have to follow in suit. You don't have to, you can appreciate the work that he did but you don't have to like follow in suit, you know. And I think you have to become a little bit more self-aware in what your abilities are, and before you go into doing something that you don't know whether or not you're going to come out of it alive. And this woman, she's got a really harsh lesson into that. And that's what, you know, that's what a lot of people need to think about. But I think overall, this new era, this new technology era has brought us a more enlightened youth. I find that the ones that are doing the right things with it are a little bit more enlightened.
Yeah, the tools given in the right hands create wonderful, wonderful things.
Yes.
Society will progress, and you know, we only talk about the shit that regresses us as a society, because at the end of the day, like you mentioned before, the media is just there to make money.
Right.
Get people's attention, get people interested.
Exactly.
The more they got you hooked listening to all their stories about shit that shouldn't even be news.
Right. Or more like, you know, plastering the news with things that are, you know, gruesome, that necessarily would turn you off to the news or make you think or skew your viewpoint of the world. If you're constantly flipping on the news and you're seeing, oh, this person died and this person died and this person got shot, you know, you just start thinking to yourself, wow, like, I'm surrounded by murderers. And it changes the whole mindset of the person watching it. But you keep watching it because you're afraid. You want to find out, oh my God, where do I not go? Where should I go? What, you know, who should I avoid next? Or what, you know, they have the new thing like, oh, stay tuned for this new product that's going to cure your cancer, or this new product that's going to cause your cancer, or certain things, and you get hooked on that message.
Man, it's the same thing. Whenever I used to watch my mother, and she would watch her Telemundo and shit, it's the same type of thing that they have in the Latin community as well, that they try to push a certain agenda and message, and it's really about, like you said, awareness, and being aware that maybe the things that you listen to are controlled by 4 corporations.
Right.
4 large corporations that control what you listen to on the radio, what you see on TV, all these media outlets.
Right.
That's why, like, I love the era we live in, bro. The Netflix era, the fact that we don't have to watch cable TV anymore. I hate commercials.
Word, dude.
I hate
commercials.
I hate waiting a week for a show. Give me the whole show, dude. I'm willing to pay for the whole thing at once, than for you to feed it to me like
one a little bit,
week,
right?
And then sell me a shitload of ads in the middle of it, and then at the same time charge me exorbitant rates.
Right. Exactly.
Cable companies are making a fucking killing, and
but
what?
They still do because they have us by the balls with the internet.
It's gonna disappear soon, like I said.
Once they break down that monopoly, then you'll see changes.
We're seeing it right now with the content that's being created and their funding.
Right.
Netflix originals that's funded completely by the Netflix studios and
right.
shit. Amazon Prime Video has now started producing shit. They've got like some Tom Clancy shits in the work that I was looking at.
Oh yeah, they got some really good shit.
I haven't seen their original content yet.
They have this show called Electric Dream. Have you ever? You gotta look it up.
Okay.
It's a good show to watch, especially Stone, but it'll make you. It'll fuck up your head, because it'll make you think like weird shit. But it goes into like a dystopian sort of future, and it'll play out the scenario. Like they have one scenario where it's like this company that's humongous that runs the world. It's kind of like Amazon, and they basically.
It's almost like Black Mirror.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like Black Mirror. It's almost identical. But it's their version. It's their version of Black Mirror,
okay.
And It goes into their like Steve Buscemi is in it. I don't know if you.
That name sounds familiar. With
The
what
guy.
is it called?
It's called The Electric Dream.
Electric Dream. Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty fire actually. Because I enjoyed Black Mirror. I didn't really get all the comedy because it was like I think it's British or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get British humor like that, but
The
it's
show's
great.
good.
Like
Yeah.
for everything else, like content wise. For sure.
Electric Dream is just like Black Mirror, but it's like it's got its own twists. Cause I think so they all revolve around different themes. So I think Black Mirror's theme is that how technology robs you of something, like how you pay for technology. Like every episode, I'm watching it like, where's the technology? What's the thing that, and then sometimes you don't find out till the very end. You're like, oh, that's what that was. It was the thing in his eyes. That's the technology that went wrong or whatever. So like in this one, it's more of political. It's more of like, like what's the political shift? What's the mentality shift that's going to change? What's being fought here? So it's really good. I really like that. It's called Electric Dreams. You can find that on Amazon Prime. Check it out.
Amazon Prime, I definitely would. You know, is that the stuff that you normally like to go for?
Yeah. It's that's
It's not recording.
hold on, let me see.
Yeah, we reached out. Ooh wee.
Think. Sorry for the interruption. So, I think we're gonna start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great to have you here. It was awesome. Your buds got me so fucking lit right now. I'm like barely coherent right now.
Yeah, me as well. I have definitely achieved a good satisfactory point. High. You know, with the mixture of everything that we have right now.
Right. I'm so sorry you couldn't meet my co-host King Jaded. She couldn't partake, but if you're listening, we just want to say a quick word. You know, we wish you well, and we hope you're back on the podcast. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
Is there anything that you want, you know, for anybody listening? Is there like anything that you want them to reach out to you? If you want to like plug anything up?
Yes. If you want to get involved with the movement, want to partake in any of the dinners, catering to all people of all culinary or any dietary restrictions as well. We have dinner parties and pop-up shops as well, affiliated with the Super Smack Brothers brand, which is a homegrown New York
that's awesome.
brand. And we throw events at local glass shops. So if you want to network, be a part of the community, and, you know, you're more than welcome to follow up with the page.
Okay.
Where we will post flyers, and you can keep up with any dates as we throw many events that cater not just towards the cannabis community, but as well, like, you know, we're affiliated with party companies as well, you know.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, it's all, like I said, it's all about networking and who you know. So
Right.
that's literally what we're all about.
That's great. That's great. And how can they find you again?
On Instagram at the Terpmongers, TERPMONGERS. Definitely, you can shoot us a DM. We're more than happy to answer your questions and put you on the list for any of our future events.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
And if you're a rebel and you're finished your smoking your J, have a good sleep. Good night, guys.
All right.